Hello, and welcome to the Maggie L. Walker National Historic Site here in Richmond, Virginia. My name is Ranger Mike, and I'm here in the Maggie L. Walker Courtyard. We are now in spring in Virginia, but I want to take you back to the cold, dark, dreary days of winter from just a few months ago. I bet you can imagine yourself sitting at your desk just waiting to escape those days, when suddenly someone drops a letter on your desk. Curiously, you open up that letter to find an invitation from a friend, inviting you to join them this spring to help them accomplish one of their dreams. You take a moment to think about this, torn between two options: whether to leave your family and your home to help a friend accomplish their goals, or to continue working at your job that you've dedicated your life to. Well, if you are anything like Maggie L. Walker, you'll discover that you can combine those goals into one, where you'll be able to find friends, work, and more in one trip. In January of 1930, Mrs. Walker received a letter from her close friend, Mary McLeod Bethune, asking her to join Mrs. Bethune in Florida with many other Black women to start a new organization that Mrs. Bethune would call the National Council of Negro Women, or the NCNW. Inspired by her time as president of the National Association of Colored Women, Mrs. Bethune dreamed of creating a new organization that would bring together many different Black women organizations under one umbrella organization. Mrs. Walker used this invitation to stay at Bethune-Cookman College for 2 months in Daytona, Florida, where she would not only help lay the groundwork for the NCNW, but she would also find time to work for her organization, the Independent Order of St. Luke, and to find time for rest, relaxation, and recuperation away from home. The first planning meeting for the National Council of Negro Women would take place over March 22nd and 23rd, composed of Black women from religious, educational, fraternal, political, economic, welfare, and business organizations. Mrs. Bethune stated that the purpose of this organization was going to be for the, quote, advancement of the cause of Negro womanhood and the development of the race along all lines through unity of thought, oneness of purpose, and close understanding between women's national organizations of whatever nature, end quote. A few weeks after the initial planning meeting for the NCNW, Mrs. Walker attended a lawn party in front of Mrs. Bethune's house that likely built upon the foundation that they had already laid. At this party was Dr. Valeria H. Parker, who was the honorary president of the National Council of Women of the United States, a white women's organization that brought together many individual groups into one collaboration. While we don't know everything that happened at this party, it is likely that Dr. Parker discussed her organization, giving Mrs. Bethune more insight for what the NCNW would be able to accomplish. Besides helping Mrs. Bethune start her organization, Mrs. Walker was also able to accomplish work for the Independent Order of St. Luke. She would regularly send and receive correspondence with the Executive Council after their meetings. And Mrs. Bethune often invited Mrs. Walker to speak at her regular Sunday community events, where Mrs. Walker was able to recruit members into her organization, including Mrs. Ada M. Lee, who would begin forming councils throughout the state of Florida for the Independent Order. Mrs. Walker was also able to use her 2 months in Florida as a chance for rest, recuperation, and relaxation. After the initial planning meeting for the NCNW, Mrs. Walker wrote in her diary that she would, quote, be getting rest and relaxation from the many years of real active service, end quote. From Jacksonville to Orlando, Mrs. Walker traveled throughout the state of Florida visiting various tourist destinations. Most notably would be Bach's Singing Gardens, where she would be able to hear the bells in the Singing Tower, in the area designed by famous landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted Jr., who has also designed many of the areas in Yosemite, Everglades, and Acadia National Parks that we can still see today. Although the NCNW was not finalized during Mrs. Walker's 2-month stay in Florida, it proved to be a successful start for the organization. Mrs. Bethune knew that having Mrs. Walker come down to Florida would prove invaluable to the organization because of her organizing expertise. Unfortunately, it would take 5 more years for Mrs. Bethune to gather enough Black women organizations for the NCNW to form, and by that time, Mrs. Walker had passed away. The NCNW still exists today with over 25 national organizations and over 200 community organizations working to bring Black women together throughout our country. I hope that the next time you see an opportunity, a friend invites you to join them, you look at that opportunity, but you plan like Mrs. Walker. You look at all of the options that you have, and you open your mind to the possibilities, because you never know what you might be able to accomplish. Thank you.